Yay! Welcome to Women Wednesday and Get in the Herd. And we have some special guest, but I'll let them introduce themselves first. Who are you?
Well, I'm not the guest. I host.
No, I know you're the host. I said a special guest.
Just in case you forgot.
Oh,
So my name is Dixie. I'm the medication and drug screening coordinator here at the McShin Foundation. And who are you?
I'm your mom.
Oh, that's Mama. And I am Joyce, intake coordinator, as well as alumni of McShin. So is Dixie, but she just always forgets that
I
part.
always forget that part.
Number one, alumni. I'm so excited that you came to visit us. And can you say your name, please?
My name's Misty.
Misty. Nice meeting you, Misty. Okay, we'll start it off because Dixie's going to take over. She's in the middle today. So we're going to have her as the main host today. I'm just going to be on the sidelines looking cute.
Mom.
Yes, child.
Did you say you're looking cute?
She is cute.
I cannot. So you're a little nervous today.
I am.
Don't be nervous. We have fun. We talk some smack, but we have fun.
Okay.
So nothing to be nervous about. So I just want to talk a little bit today, like your end of it. I think it's important for people because this goes into jails and all that stuff, and it gets live streamed through a lot of things. So I think it's important for people to see like the other side, like the family's perspective on it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like what you went through for the past. Yeah, hell. Exactly
Hell?
right. Yeah.
Can't imagine that as having Dixie as a daughter. I just thought she was a perfect princess.
I am.
Misty, did I ever tell you a story about Dixie?
Here we go, Mom.
When I first met Dixie, me and her came through McShin at the same time. She had about a month on me, and Jill assigned her to be my shadow. And we were out in the hall in the parking lot, and it was hot too. And Dixie said, "I don't know what you're gonna do. I got to go get something to eat," and left me in the parking lot by myself.
Food's
And
important.
and I had the rules that you can't walk by yourself under 30 days, so I had to sit in the parking lot till someone came pick me up. So I just want y'all to know that. That's how my experience with Dixie is. But she's a perfect princess.
Try 26 years of experience with her.
But anyway, sorry, I had to tell my part.
I am a princess. It's funny. It's funny though because I went downstairs and I was like, "Let me introduce you to Jesse," because I don't remember her ever having any interaction with him.
Mhm.
And Jesse was like, "I met her at court when Jesse went to court for me back in 2019."
Oh.
And I was like, "What?" And I was like, "She doesn't go to my court dates." And then she went to that one. So like that made me I forget about that because you never went to my court dates. But that one, because I was doing good, you did go to.
Yeah, it was a couple of them I went and tried to convince them to keep you, though.
Yeah. Don't blame you.
Yeah. So you try to keep me because you try to get them to keep me.
To save your life,
To
I'm
save
sure.
my life, yeah. Like there was many
Absolutely.
times where I had bond and it'd be a cheap bond. And she's like, absolutely not. I think she bonded me out the first time I ever went to jail.
No, that was your dad.
Oh, the second time.
Don't get it wrong. It won't me.
Yeah, that was my first one was my DUI. The second one was probably my possession charge, and she bonded me out on that one. After she was trying to take me to turn myself in, but they got to the house before I was able to leave to go turn myself in.
Goodness. Dixie, I'm glad that you don't have to go through all those courts. Aren't you, Misty? She's not doing the courts.
Glad.
I went to court all the time.
Yeah.
I mean,
Wow.
constantly. I would either be like for a couple years, 3 years, it was either like I was out on bond or I was in jail. It was never really a time where I wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
But when she would say when I was in jail, that's when she felt most at peace.
Yeah, because it just so happened every time you were in jail, most of the time your sister was clean. So I would get some peace of mind knowing that both of you were safe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was always vice versa. Either I was in jail and she was doing good, or I was doing good and she wasn't. It was always like it could never happen at the same time. I think
If it happened at the same time, I knew something was wrong because y'all would get along. Y'all
Yeah.
wouldn't be fighting.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, yeah. There's a
something's
problem up with that. Yeah.
I remember one time
Told on yourselves.
me and my sister used to go to the Sushi King on Hall Street. And it was like after Christmas or Thanksgiving, one of the holidays, the mom was in Richmond visiting. And my dad was like, "Here's some money. You and your sister go out to eat," because he wanted us to because we fought so much.
Yeah.
How was that when I went off on your dad?
Well, I don't probably, but Dad said, "Crush it, ladies. Love y'all."
Aw.
And then Gwen said, "Hey, ladies, listening from Hanover."
Hi,
Hey,
Gwen. Thanks for listening.
But my dad gave us money. And
Hi, Your name's Dixie. Dixie's dad. Sorry.
Jimmy.
Jimmy. Hi, Jimmy. Sorry.
But he was like, y'all go get some food, have some like sister bonding time.
Mhm.
And we went to Sushi King, and my mom didn't believe that we were going, and she called Sushi King to
No,
make
that's
sure we
right.
were there.
Yeah.
And we were really there.
Yeah.
We weren't doing anything wrong.
Well, you can't blame moms, man. That's
Yeah.
we got to check on them kids.
I know.
Sometimes they like to
See,
say a lot of different things.
Because they were two girls.
Mhm.
They were daddy's girls.
Mhm.
So they would play him, right?
Yeah. Not you. No.
Now, Savannah would whine,
Mhm.
Savannah
and she would
got her way
play
all the
me
time.
some.
Mhm.
Dixie had no chance.
Yeah, I'm the oldest. I had no chance ever in life. What do you mean?
You know, with the oldest is what we use to
I
try
used to
to.
get the bad end of the stick.
Yeah, well, the oldest is like our first child, where we any mistake we make, you know what I mean? Like I was anal with my first, and then my second kind of like, okay, I didn't have to be that tough.
Yeah.
See, Savannah would sit back and watch him, see her whole life
Yeah.
what Dixie would get in trouble for, and
Yeah.
then figure out ways
She was
to
really smart.
avoid that.
No,
Or
no, not at all. She wouldn't figure out ways to avoid it. She would figure out ways to get me in trouble for her wrongdoing.
Oh.
Yeah. So what was it like during our active addiction, like your role
Mm.
in it?
so
Because your mom is an addict. Your mom's side of the family and my dad's side comes from a lot of addicts.
yeah, I grew up with an addict as a parent.
Mhm.
My dad ended up raising me. And I always tell somebody my dad and my stepdad raised me.
Mhm.
I always tell them I have two dads and no mom.
Mhm.
Because my mom is not involved in any of our lives.
Mhm.
Right.
And they're like, well, that's kind of cool, you know? So early in life, I just disconnected myself from addiction altogether. Wouldn't date anybody if they so much as smoked weed.
Mhm.
I didn't want it around my kids. And my thinking was, if I did that, then I was protecting them, and they
Yeah.
wouldn't get involved in it. They wouldn't know that world. Boy, was I wrong.
Mhm.
So it kind of hit me hard
Yeah.
when I had at times too. Like
Mhm.
some of this stuff, I was like, okay, well, they're just experimenting. They're teenagers or whatever. But when the hard stuff came,
Mhm.
I remember Dixie was good until she moved to Richmond. I mean, she was still doing some stuff,
Mhm.
but for the most part, she was good until she moved to Richmond. Savannah, she was low key on everything. I didn't know what in the world was going on.
Mhm.
And the day that I figured it out is I went to change laundry out of the washer into the dryer and almost got stuck with a needle.
Mhm.
And I about lost it that day.
Mhm.
And that's the day my whole world, within a month, she had OD'd and everything. It just tumbled down from there. And it was 6 years of hell
Mhm.
because you don't want to answer your phone.
Yeah.
Because you don't know when the phone calls come in. You don't want anybody knocking at your door.
Mhm.
None of that. And you're kind of embarrassed because, like, when my kids started on heroin and stuff, it was not in my area.
Mhm.
And I remember I had a close friend that was a police officer. And I called him and I said, it actually used to be one of Savannah's softball coaches. I was like, is he or boo? And he's like, no, it's not. We've seen no evidence. And yeah, it is.
Mhm.
I have.
Mhm.
My daughter's laid up OD'd right now. It's here.
Mhm.
Didn't believe me. And since my kids were one of the first kids in my area, we come from a very small town.
Yeah, she was telling me.
So I felt like I was getting
Backlash.
Yeah.
Mhm.
a lot. And a lot of my friends disappeared. It was just bad.
Yeah, I can imagine because they blame us as the parents always, as a result of what our children do.
I had this one. I'm just going to skip the word I was going to
Yeah.
say. But
Okay.
she made the comment that I deserved everything I got
Mm.
for what my kids were giving me. That's the kind of
Yeah.
community that we had. But I feel like after time, like I've spoken before, like where we're from, there's no recovery down there. But like
there's
Yeah.
none.
it's so like the drugs, like the heroin is so like it's what's the word I'm looking
Like
for?
it exploded when it became down
Yeah,
there, right?
like
Like it just one day it
blew
wasn't there,
up.
and then
It's like a
boom.
hub there.
Yeah.
Like it's a big drop point from
Mhm.
down south up here. And Henderson, North Carolina in particular, is huge heroin drop point.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I was like saying, like from where, you guys are at, however, your small town that you're from. I'm from a small town too. I'm from the Hopewell, Petersburg area. We didn't have, when I was down there, it was only cocaine and all this and that. But all of a sudden, in one day, it seemed like the
Yeah, like
heroin just
overnight.
boom. Yeah, literally. Like it wasn't there. Like I know what was on the streets. And then, all of a sudden it just blew up. It was
Mhm.
just amazing. And that's why I can imagine with you guys, they try to, and especially with kids, that I'm sure they're the ones that try it out first.
Yeah, and I feel like you
How
kind of
old
got
were you?
me.
Yeah.
With when I
When you
started
started the heroin part?
heroin 19.
19, yeah.
I
That's
started
about the age.
I started opiates at like 16,
Mm-hmm.
and then heroin at 19. I started heroin when I moved to Richmond.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I got introduced to that. And then
I actually remember you coming to me, and you have been staying in Gassburg,
Mhm.
and cried because you found a syringe and a spoon.
Mm-hmm.
You were already using pills at that point, but you hadn't picked up the needle,
Mhm.
and you were freaking out. Do you remember that?
Mm-mm. I don't
Yeah.
have a lot of memory, Mom.
Well, your mama remembers.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and because I guess I have degrees,
Mm-hmm.
I've worked in psych for many years.
Mm-hmm.
Now that it's hit the community so hard, I have people reaching out to me.
Mm-hmm.
I had her brother's mom
Mm-hmm.
texted me, like 4 months ago,
Mhm.
asking me how to be a parent to an addict.
Mm-hmm.
How do you answer that?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. It's hard. I get calls every day. I do the intake. So, I get calls every day with parents that just don't know what to do. How do
Yeah.
I do it? Am I enabling when I do this?
Mhm.
And it's like, the main thing that I think, and it's hard I think you learned it quick, but for other parents, it's like the word no has to be used. You know what I mean? Like, no, we're not going to do this. We're not going to give this to you. We're not going to help you with this at this time. You're going to have to, because I see where parents will start saying no, but then they give in. And I can see where the kid goes. It's
Right.
like if they're enabling them, yeah, I'm going to keep doing what I do. But when I get that no, where I don't have a house, I don't have a car that you're offering me, you're not paying this for me anymore. Because I have people who pay their kids rents and stuff, and they're still,
Yeah.
I don't know what to do. I'm like, stop paying his rent, tell him he's got to get help if he wants to continue that. I wish I had someone pay my rent.
I think that's
But-
one thing, like, at first when we were younger, maybe y'all enabled us a little bit because we were young, and it was at the beginning. Oh my God, that scared me so
I
bad.
know, sorry.
That was at the beginning of like what y'all knew of our addiction, and then like as time went on, I know for me personally and Savannah, like it got to the point where like when I did have a car, I totaled that high. But when I did have my car at the time, I would like sleep out of the Walmart parking lot down on Forest Hill and things
Scary.
like that. Yeah, well, yeah, at the
We
time
weren't-
it wasn't.
No, I
Now
know. We
it's
were
like,
tough.
yeah. Now it's like, what in the hell?
How did I do that?
I've done had to go and get you all the way from Pennsylvania before.
Wow.
Some shithole hotel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do you remember how you ended up there?
Yeah.
Oh.
Mhm. Sure do.
And I told her not to go.
Yeah.
To start with,
Yeah.
but she didn't listen.
But like
Never.
I feel like towards like the last few years of my my active addiction, you and Dad both, like y'all, they did not enable us whatsoever. Like I'm talking about go to jail, wouldn't put money on my mom would put money on the phone, but like on her end. She wouldn't put money on my books. She would come visit me. But like that was just to see my child. And then like I couldn't go live there. I couldn't go live at my dad's. My dad used to like give me money if I asked for it. No, he stopped doing that. Like he was not helping me in any sort type of way. Now, if I needed gas or something, he'd be like, all right, meet me at the gas station and I'll put gas in your car. You're not coming to get money. And then I'm like, well, I'm not even meeting you because the whole point was I wanted money. You know what I'm saying? So towards like the last few years, they didn't really enable me.
You think that actually, when they stopped enabling, you think that's what probably led to your recovery, starting your recovery or starting your journey?
Well, no, not really, because my nanny has since passed away, but she was a big enabler of mine. And at the time, I didn't realize it, but like when my mom and dad wouldn't help me or I didn't have anywhere to live, I just would have to I called my nanny and I would go stay at my nanny's house. But staying at my nanny's house came with a lot of crap too. So like, it wasn't the best living situation, not because of my nanny, but because of my grandma. It was very unhealthy and toxic. So it got to the point where like I had a roof over my head, I had a job, like I was maintaining on that aspect, kinda, but like I was still using and I kept overdosing.
Mm.
So like finally I was just like, okay, I'll go. But it was a big fight that day at the house before I came here.
I remember
This
I
up here.
couldn't even go on vacation. I went to New
Yeah.
Orleans.
Oh,
Got a call. She'd overdosed.
Yeah.
I couldn't go anywhere
Yeah.
because I'd always
be worried about what they're gonna do.
yeah, mainly it was her overdosing
Mhm.
all the time. But
yeah, I overdosed all the time.
it was maybe a couple months after that. She'd overdosed like 5 times in 1 week.
Oh my goodness.
And her dad and I ran around and we exhausted every avenue we could find,
Mhm.
get a hold of.
Mhm.
And it was a dead end everywhere.
Mhm.
But I knew that if Dixie ever took that step, because
Mhm.
she'd never been in a recovery house, she'd never been to rehab, she'd
Mhm.
never done any of those things. The only thing she'd done is went to jail.
Yeah.
So I knew that if Dixie ever were to make that first step, that she would succeed.
Mm-hmm.
It was just a matter of getting her hard-headed self
To
healed.
go to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Is this the first place that you tried?
Mhm.
Okay, so wow. So you this is the first place you tried. You did the program here, and then we went to sober living,
Mhm.
which is when we caught up, and so you've been clean ever since then. So you're like with the part of the 3%, they say. You know,
Right.
they say that only 3% people
I will
go through.
say, like, so I was a bit of a follower in a sense. Like, it's whatever the people around me were doing,
Mhm.
I would do. Not so much anymore, but so it's like me coming here, it's like, okay, everybody's not using, so
Mhm.
I'm not gonna use until finally one day it just like clicked and I didn't want to use anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, you definitely learn it here. The atmosphere,
Mhm.
you can't help but get motivated unless you really are like, no, I don't want it. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But you've really got to be negative and not want it to not feel the atmosphere around here.
Mhm. Yeah, and I just felt like here. So like I'm happy that dad linked up with Bennett and like they were able to get me here because like since then, like, you know, like this is home.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
And
absolutely.
I don't know if I would have went anywhere else if it would have like helped me.
I can tell you that night, I had called the ER and begged them to keep you.
Mhm.
But I was trying to find,
The night before I
Some-
came here.
yeah,
Uh-huh.
the night that you overdosed the last time,
Mhm.
that to keep you. And I was trying to figure something else. I've
Mhm.
been to the magistrate. I tried to get a 5150. I'd done
What's
all
that?
kinds of things, a TDO,
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
all kinds of things, and nothing was working. And her dad and I sat in his garage and just cried.
Mm-hmm.
And we're like, what are we going to do?
Mm-hmm.
Who's going to help us? Because she's not going to listen to us.
Mm-mm.
And somehow or another, Bennett ended up calling, or your dad called Bennett or something. I don't know how it worked out. But then, because I'd never heard of McShin.
Mm-hmm.
And then Bennett talked to him about John, and Jimmy called John. And John was like, have her here in the morning.
Yeah.
And she was still hell-bent she won't come in at that point. She's like, nope, I'm not going.
Yeah.
But her daddy has a different rapport with her than I do.
Yeah.
Like, he kind of finessed her. I was wanting to
Mhm.
drag her and put her ass in the car and bring her right here.
Right. Right.
But he kind of
Mhm.
finessed her and babied her, and whatever he did worked. She
Mhm.
came because she won't come in.
If you, yeah.
Mm-mm.
Mhm.
Well, I'm glad that you finally made it in. Did you ever detox at somewhere else before? Or you just
In jail.
so the only detox
Yeah,
in jail.
so like I only ever went to jail if I wasn't in jail. Now there's been times where I came home from jail and maintained to stay clean for a little bit, like a month, 2 months,
Mhm.
maybe 3 at one point. But then I
But
would
not
al-
2 years like you are
No,
now.
Exactly. So like it was never like it is now. Like, and I'd
Mhm.
never been anywhere before except for jail. So it was like a real big difference, but it also helps me like it helps me like I think it benefited me going to jail so many times coming
Mhm.
here because like I lived with a whole bunch of women. So
Mhm.
like I knew how to like live with women and coexist and deal with living with so many women because of jail. So like that helped me in a big sense because it can be like a bit of a shock moving into a house with a whole bunch of people.
Absolutely. Yeah. When I moved in, I was like, whoa. I was in the top room in the Smith house, so that was four beds up
Mhm.
there. You know, remember the first timers
Yeah.
bed? So it's 4 beds, all women, and I'm like, whew. I've only, as everybody says, when I was out there, I only hung out with dudes. I
Mhm.
didn't live with all them. But it was really good. Like it
Mhm.
was it was something that I totally didn't expect. With me, I mean, I don't even know what caused me to go and like I did 4 times in detox. Every time I went to recovery, I thought detox was all I needed. I was alcoholic. So, but every single time I left out of detox, I would go get a drink. Till the last time I ended up at detox, I couldn't even tell you how I ended up at detox. I woke up and everybody told me, "Oh gosh, you're not like you were last night." So apparently I was really scary when I was drunk. Fibs. But anyway, so I did that, and then I went to a rehab, which is crazy. I went to a 20-day rehab, which like how you went here for 20 days, but this is home, right? I never went back to that place. I mean, even though I went there and I thank them for it, I came to McShin afterwards for sober living, and I stood here, for 11 months, just like Dixie did. But McShin was always my home place. You know what I mean? And that's why I said I can imagine, like with your 20 days, and then here it was home. But it is crazy because at my old where I came from, my rehab, I never been back once. You know what I mean? It's like it was a clinical, more clinical than anything. So it's definitely a difference between an authentic peer-to-peer recovery and a clinical place.
Absolutely.
Read some of those comments. I can't see.
Barry Watson, he's my mom's dad. That's my papa. He said, "Doing great, love y'all." Sandy and Barry watching. So Mimi and Papa are watching. Gwen Smith, first one. What?
Boil
everything. I couldn't see if that was 2 L's or an I.
Oh, we're talking about the children. Remember we were talking about the kids?
Oh, yeah. Third.
Chalk lick the floor. How can I see it? You can't see it.
I don't know. I couldn't see if it was an I or an L. Oh. And then Jenny said, "Hey, I love you, Jenny."
Hey, Jenny.
And then my dad said he called us. What did he say? "I called both of you. How can I mess with y'all if your phone's off?" Dad, because we're
on a podcast.
I'm not going to answer my phone.
Mindy?
This is my dad, y'all. Mindy Johnson said, "Congrats on your sobriety, Dixie." Thank you.
Woo-hoo.
And Gwen Smith said 2 years. Congratulations. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I can tell you from my experience as a mom. He and I sent Savannah to rehab, 6 times?
So many times.
6 or 7. But she never would try recovery until the end. She came here and she absolutely did not like it. But, to each its own. I would highly advise anybody who is trying to get clean or a parent that is seeking a resource for their children or a friend or husband or whomever, look into recovery houses because a 28-day program is not where it's at. Yeah, it's getting your feet wet. It's getting you straight to move forward, but you're not gonna. It's not gonna be a recovery story. It's got to be a long-term commitment.
Absolutely, 28 days is not enough.
We tell that to people all the time.
I know. I feel like it's part of my spill that I say because 28 days is what lays your foundation for lays your foundation. Here's not even lays your foundation for recovery because when I was in my 28-day program, I didn't even know about like real recovery till I got to McShin. Like I didn't know about 12-step meetings. I didn't even. Isn't that crazy? How do you go to a 28-day program and not know about 12-step?
Yeah.
So and a lot of the 28-day programs, I mean, not to bash any of them because everybody's trying to
each his own, absolutely.
But a lot of them are just like a big dormitory for addicts to just party and get different resources and connections, and they come out worse than they were when they went in. They might be clean for the moment that they're in there, but when they come out with all kinds of different skill sets and connections, and it's you think you're sending them there to help them, but in the end, it just causes
sometimes more harm.
Yeah, you need to have a follow-up plan. Like Savannah did an IOP, and she did
good on
like
IOP
2 years.
Well, no, she didn't stay clean that long, but she did good on IOP for like some months. She was on MAT, and that worked well for her. And then she got on the Vivitrol, and that worked well for her. But she finessed the system a little bit with the Vivitrol shot. But up until she figured that out, she was doing really good. So I would say like 6 months or so, she was doing really, really well.
Yeah, I did the Vivitrol shot for alcoholism too, and that's what actually helped me. I just stood on it for the whole time I was in here till COVID came.
Every time I was on the naltrexone pill, but every time somebody talks about the shot, I just send them down to your office. I'm like, just go talk to Joyce. There's so many J names in my life. But go talk to Joyce and she can help you.
One day I'll have my own identity, people. So
Papa Barry said, which is Barry Watson, you guys, sorry. Sandy and I put Savannah in rehab in Florida, but it didn't work there either. Yeah, they did do that.
And then Alex Jones says, "Hi, but Patrick Belcher said, can you explain your lingo, MAT?" You're right, because some people may not know what MAT means.
Yeah.
MAT is
maintenance assistant treatment.
Medical
Medicine assistant treatment, right? Yeah.
medical assisted treatment, yes.
But I said
Uh-huh.
maintenance.
But it could be maintenance too. I mean, whatever you want to do it. But medical assisted treatment, sort of like maintenance, could be Suboxone, methadone, anything of that sort. I think even some people may even consider
Marijuana.
Vivitrol. And
Marijuana. Some people, I guess, consider it maintenance.
marijuana. I don't personally think of Vivitrol as a medical
either.
assisted treatment, but some people could. It depends. So
I don't know what IMT is.
I honestly don't know what that means either.
I'm not sure what that is.
I will do research, Patrick Belcher, and I'll get back to you next week. So, but yeah, I mean, there's a lot of different pathways, but I've never, like I said, I didn't really learn any pathways or anything until I actually came to McShin. And the crazy thing is that when and my rehab, it was a brand new rehab. I was like the 5th person to graduate that program. But all the people that were in my class, the only 2 people that remained clean to this day are the 2 that went to recovery housing, which was me and this other dude. And, he went to a recovery house, Oxford House up in Virginia Beach, which is fine. I mean, wherever you want to go, whatever works for you. But that's when we both, we are both the only ones. Everyone else said, oh, I got the 20 days. I'm good. And I'm like, okay. But see, I was with them too, though. Like when I was going to a 28-day program, I was going to go back home. Like, yes. But I already knew in my back of my head that I was going to go back home and drink. I mean, I was just doing this as a timeout until I got, talked in to come to McShin. Like, give it 2 weeks, see how it is. And that's what we always tell people too. Give it 2 weeks, see how you like it. And
Dixie was hell bent. She told me that she'd be here the 28 days.
Yeah, and then leave the next day, right?
She was leaving as soon as that was over with.
I was so serious.
We had someone say, I'm leaving at 12:01 a.m. Remember?
Like jail?
No, the participant came to me and she was asking me about her medication. She said, well, I'm leaving at 12:30 a.m. And I was like, what? And she was like, yeah. And I was like, no, you're not. You're leaving at lunchtime at 12 p.m.
Yeah.
She was like, no. And I was like, okay, whatever.
You can't leave the housing in the middle of the night. Gwen Smith says IOP. Some may not know what that means. So explain what IOP means.
It's an intensive outpatient. So
program.
Instead of it being, so instead of it being an inpatient, like let's say Galax or something like that.
Or McShin.
No, your sister did IOP too. She had to go to therapy every single day for hours. Your dad was.
It's really intense, but it's an outpatient rather than staying in housing.
Yeah. I actually did one too. I tried that too at one time. One of my detox spills, but I figured that it wasn't working when I was trying to drink where I knew it would be out of my system before the drug test that they gave me. So when I figured out like I'm trying to beat the system, then what's the freaking point of me going? I was only going because they gave you free lunch. That was really it.
I'm really grateful that I didn't go, like Mom said, like not going against anything inpatient, but I'm grateful I didn't go to like a rehab.
Yeah.
I don't know if the clinical aspect would have clicked with me. You know what I'm saying? And like you said, like when I came here, the only time I ever heard about 12-step meetings is like when I would actually, me and my sister were doing good at the same point at one time, and she was doing IOP. And I went to go visit her.
Intensive outpatient program, guys.
Yeah. Sorry. But she was like, go to an NA meeting with me. And I was like, you see it on TV. And I'm like, I'm not going to an NA meeting to sit around in a circle and talk about whatever. Like, I'm not going. She was like, just come with me. I was like, I'm not going. So I didn't go. So I'd never been to and I only knew about it from what I saw on TV. So I never had went to one until I came here or knew about the 12 steps. Like you hear about that in movies and stuff sometimes, but like I never knew what it consisted of or how to do the process or even what like a sponsor was until I came here. I remember going to a meeting and hearing about a sponsor and I was like, what in the hell?
I got another stuff I got to do?
Yeah, like what?
And so, it's funny you said that because, you're like, oh no, I'm not going there. But like if we, that's like a reservation because if we really want help and this is, I think I just talked about this. I swear I just had this conversation yesterday. Like if you want help, you're going to do whatever it is that you need to do to have help, whether it to be at, go sit down in a 12-step meeting, go sit in the house with 12 other girls and just talk about recovery. You know, whatever the situation is, if you want help, I'm not going to be like, oh, they don't know what they're talking about. No, I'm going to sit there. I'm going to try and do whatever I need to do. As long as I'm clean that day and I'm safe that day, then I'm good that day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? No
That's
matter
what-
what it is.
That's what you
Give
hear
it
people.
time.
That's what you hear people say in meetings. They'll
Yeah.
be like, at least for this 1 hour,
Yeah, I know.
you're not using.
Right. So just, you know what, if you really want help, then you put in the work.
MIT, my dad said MIT, motivational interviewing therapy, according to the great resource called Google.
Sounds great.
What is motivational interviewing therapy? That
Yeah.
sounds intense.
Oh, that's what he looked it up for us. The MIT. No, it's IMT.
It's IMT, Dad. IMT.
Maybe he's a bit dyslexic today.
Maybe.
Thanks for the try, Jimmy. I like that though.
But
Did I
I
say it
will
right?
say, though,
Jimmy.
yeah.
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 All right, I'm part of the family now.
But I will say, like, once I, stayed in housing instead of leaving after the 28 days and, like, got a little bit grounded. Like, my dad let me take his truck. My first summer clean. He let me drive
Was it your first? No, it was last summer.
No, he let me have it. You might not know about it. I don't gotta tell you
secrets.
everything, okay? Because you'll
Come
call
on the
him
podcast,
and
she'll
be
tell you
like,
it all.
no. He said, "My bad, I'm hard of hearing." Yes, Dada, you are. I love you.
No, that's because of Iraq.
Yeah. So, he would do he let me drive his truck to the beach last year.
Mhm.
Now it didn't go well. The truck got stuck, and I was like, I called him. I was like, "Do you have AAA?" But he trusted me with his truck to drive on the beach, which never happened. But
In another state.
Yeah.
Mm.
And like mom's bent over backwards for me since I've been clean for the most part. Like if she can accommodate me, especially because she's had my child this whole time.
Yeah, she has.
So last week and this week she's been staying at my house to watch him while I can come to work until he
Aw.
can start daycare.
Yeah,
And
that's
she's,
so nice.
you know what I'm
See what
saying?
you get when you get clean?
I know.
The support
And we
is
didn't
out.
have a good relationship prior to me getting clean.
Well, duh.
No.
Mm-mm.
Why would she? What have you did to have her other than have her give you birth? What have you done for her to make her have a good relationship while you were using, but give her
While I
worry?
was using.
Yeah, while you were using. Now it's different.
And a baby to raise.
Yeah, and she she gave you a baby to raise.
She
What
loves
else?
him.
Yeah. Well,
do.
yeah, she does.
But
No.
look, I had my babies young, right?
Yeah,
So
that's why
when
we did it, right?
When they graduate, I was like, "Hot damn, I'm 38
Yeah,
years
yeah,
old,
I can
and
do what I
I'm
wanna
gonna go
do."
live it up."
Mhm.
Mm-mm.
Here's you an infant.
Yep. Here you go,
Plans
Mom.
change. Universe said no.
Aw.
Yeah.
And I remember I just bought my 2-door car.
Mm-hmm. Oh. You really messed that up, Dixie.
Yeah, that's
Like the month before, I just
Oh.
bought it. I'm like, it's me now.
Yeah.
Now let's put a baby in the back
But
seat.
you had a 2-door when me and Savannah were babies. And you
Yeah,
used
but
to-
it was a Thunderbird, so it's much bigger.
Ooh,
I don't know nothing about all that.
I know you're too young.
too young.
Not that young, guys.
You are kind of young. She didn't know what 21 Jump Street was.
I did know. That's a movie.
Yeah, no.
You know
Mom.
now?
Because we said that she was our 21 Jump Street person when we sent her to high schools and stuff.
Oh, well, can I just tell you what happened today when we went into the place?
Oh, what? They thought you were a kid?
The guy was like going, yeah.
Well, tell me what happened.
He asked
Sorry.
me how old I was, and I said 26.
You're welcome.
Everybody's
I
not
know.
laughing.
Yeah, it's
You're
good though.
welcome.
It is. It's good
my
genes. It's
God.
good genes. It's awesome. Trust me, it's gonna come in handy when you get older.
So Kristen Control said, I don't know. Wait, I'm really bad at this. I feel like I'm dyslexic today. I know that I don't really know you, but congratulations on your 2 years. Thank you.
Woo-hoo. All right.
IMT is intensive methamphetamine treatment.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
So is that methadone or
Methamphetamine.
I thought
Methamphetamine.
methamphetamine is meth.
It is. Methamphetamine. Not methadone. And then Debbie said, we're going to have a debate in here.
I know. It felt like it was coming, and I
Yeah.
just said, okay.
Debbie said what helped her son was to stay in rehab, and then he wanted more time for sober living to get back on track. He ended up staying at McShin for 2 years. So grateful for his life now, 9 years in recovery.
Awesome. Yay. Thank you, Debbie.
That just shows a lot about him right there. He got clean for July 4th. Like,
Oh, yeah, that's
big
freaking
deal.
awesome. And then we got the next one, which is Jamie.
Janie Reamy.
Janie.
She's my cousin. She said I
Oh.
could have. What? What's that?
She could have still had the bus. Kai would have had a ball in that big ass thing.
Oh yeah.
Oh, my old Suburban.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
Yep.
So it was interesting you were talking about speaking at high schools or
Mhm.
whatever. So I had put a post up that I was coming on here today
Mhm.
for my first time, and if anybody had questions or was looking for help, to inbox Dixie or I or whatever.
Mhm.
So just so the people that don't know,
Mhm.
Dixie's sister passed away,
Mhm.
and she had just left McShin
Mhm.
right before this. Well, was it her last week at McShin when they came and arrested her? Because it was during COVID. She had a
So
probation
it was right when
violation.
COVID started. She had a misdemeanor probation violation, which we knew about.
Yeah, it was like
McShin
the
knew
weekend
about it.
before.
Right.
Yeah.
And her probation officer knew about it, but she had court coming up, so she told her just to stay in recovery housing until court.
Mhm.
Well, she wanted to leave, so the cops
Came and
came and picked her up at Smith House when she
Mhm.
was packing her stuff. And keep going.
I guess it was like a week or so after she
Mhm.
passed away. The cop came by to check on her because
At Smith
Savannah.
House, because she
Mm.
passed away right
Yeah.
like a week after.
Yeah,
week and a
yeah,
half
it was
after
it
this.
was really quick afterwards.
It wasn't even a week. It was like
Yeah.
4 days.
Mhm.
But he came by to check on her, and I guess Courtney was there now.
Mhm.
And Courtney had to inform him that Savannah passed away. So he reached out to me and said, as a police officer, that she had really made an impact on him and his opinions. And, she was really stood out, and he was sorry to hear about this or whatever. So today
Mhm.
he commented on my post and said that he is still talking about Savannah and sharing his experience with her and how he met her, and was wondering would Dixie and I come to the school where he's now a resource officer
Oh,
at
okay.
and talk to his students.
Dixie can actually go undercover as a student and talk to them in their ear, like, "Hey guys, you know what?"
I hate y'all.
Sorry, go on. I didn't mean to interrupt.
So I mean, she is still, people are still
Yeah,
reaching out.
absolutely.
I've had people share her story. I don't know how the hell it got on the West Coast or anything else, but I've had people reach out to me about her and her story in recovery and ask for input and questions and guidance and everything just based on that alone. So did you know all this?
Yeah.
Yeah, she reached a lot of people with her story. I've seen it quite a few times as well, and had people call and stuff. I still remember when she left and when she came back, and then it's not a funny story, but she took the girl's cheese and threw it in the road because the girl took some of her stuff.
Oh yeah,
But
that's when your dad was there, right?
Yeah.
and I kept writing about the cheese. I said, "There's the cheese." We didn't
My
pick up
dad
that
calls
cheese.
me and he's like, "Your sister needs to go get her food from the recovery house. Should I take her?" And I was like, "Yeah, take the girl to go get her food. Like you technically paid for it. Like go get it." So he takes her, and he called me afterwards, and he was mad as hell. He said, "Your sister's been taking this cheese and throwing it through all her groceries in the yard and in the road."
It's the girl's groceries that she thought took her stuff. So she took the girl. And the thing is I did. It was my house, my recovery house. Well, I was the house leader, and I had everybody have their blue bins where they had their food in. So she took the girl's whole bin and just started throwing it.
Yeah, she was very ruthless.
Yeah,
it was so.
It did not shock me whatsoever.
I had to and then just think of me when I had to come back and say, "Oh, I'm sorry that happened." I'm like, like I try to keep a straight face, but sometimes I just can't.
Called me because their dad is like very laid back, and he's military, so he's laid back and he doesn't say a lot. And he was telling me that this was going on, and I could just imagine him sitting there watching the Tasmanian devil in the front yard, like just throwing shit everywhere.
Yeah, and the funniest thing to me is the damn cheese. I'm telling you, I swear I rode past that cheese for a week. Like we did not pick it up, so it's just like there goes the cheese. I mean, but anyway, but yeah, that's but all of that happened within that week. It was definitely devastating, and a lot of people have heard about it, and a lot of people. But I can say that her story has reached out a lot of individuals. It's like she kind of did a little, did all right until she just kind of got irritated at somebody. Something irritated her, and then she's like, "Fuck this, fuck everything," and I'm gone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I just, definitely is a memory.
Yeah.
It came up in my I was looking for a picture of her dad to show somebody, and it was screenshots of her telling me that she was going to leave, and
Mhm.
me saying no, trying to talk her out of it. But once that seed is
And-
planted,
mhm.
it's a wrap.
Yeah.
So
I would come up here to try to talk to her. Like
Mhm,
Jill
you
would
did.
call me and be like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like,
Yeah.
"I'm about to go to work." She's like, "Well, before you go, you need to come up here."
Mhm.
And I would try to talk to her in the parking lot, try to keep her to stay. And sometimes I got her to stay for a couple more days until her
Mhm.
next outburst. But then it just got to the point where she had her mind made up.
Yeah.
And one thing some advice I would give a parent if they were asking
Mhm.
is try to build a relationship. Even if your kid is in active addiction, try to build a relationship to where they will be as honest as possible with you.
Mhm.
I mean, they're not going to be honest about everything, but
No.
make it where they can still come and talk to you. You don't have to be enabling them to have
Yeah. You should
be
be
able to talk to them. Like
Yeah.
Savannah would come to me
About
Dixie,
everything.
The child would tell me stuff I did not want to hear. Did not.
Mhm.
But I was thankful that she was at least telling me, so I was aware of what was going on and maybe could plan the next step.
Mhm.
And she would come to me and say things like, "Mom, I'm tired. I want to give up."
Mhm.
I would tell her, "Okay, well, it's my place as your mom to fight for you when you're tired of fighting. So if
Mhm.
you're tired right now, I'll do the fighting for you." Dixie,
I just did my own thing.
I never would hear from her. I mean,
Mhm.
she would tell me,
Mhm.
but she'd also sit there in front of me nodding out, swearing that she was not high.
Mhm. Yep. Sounds like Dixie.
So where Savannah would come through the door and be like, "Yeah, I relapsed."
Mhm.
So try to keep the open communication, and even if you don't agree with them, do so in a loving manner. Don't
Yeah.
critique everything because you don't understand.
Yeah.
Even with all my education and all my training and all my whole life being surrounded by addiction, I
Mhm.
still do not understand it.
Yeah.
I don't know what sets it off.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Right.
So you have to listen in order to try to help your child.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Like not being judgmental. I'm a big, like with my two sons, I have a 23-year-old and a 19-year-old, and I try just not to be judgmental on anything that they have to say. I mean, if they're saying it, they must feel it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, you can't be like, "Oh, well, you can't feel like that," or "You can't do that." Everything's valid. So and I've learned that because of the way I was when I was in active addiction, and how everybody was just jumping, "Oh, you're just alcoholic. You're not trying to do anything for yourself."
Right.
And I'm like, dude, I'm not like this because I want to be, not half the time.
Well, I remember when my dad, put on there earlier that
Mhm.
they had put Savannah in rehab in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
And she had came to me that time and said, "I got to get out of here. I want to get clean. I
Mhm.
can't do it around here." So we sent her to Florida.
Mm-hmm.
Dad and Sandy put her into a treatment facility there. She flat ass told him, "Nope, I'm checking out. I'm not done with that." So like, "Can you go smoke some weed or something? Just
Mhm.
calm down. Why's it got to be the hard stuff?"
Yeah.
She's like,
Yeah.
"And if you don't take me back to Virginia, I'm walking." I
Mhm.
mean, so she was straightforward and honest with everybody.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Very blunt.
Yeah, she was. She always told you exactly what she felt.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes I was just like, oh my god. Yeah.
She had a
All
great
right.
personality. But so you guys, we're getting ready to wrap it up. And what I like to do at the end is always tell us, and you just told some good stuff for advice for a parent, but now you got to think of something new to say because we have to end it off. Like, all right, so what we do is at the end of our group, I want to leave you with some words to think about, So with me, you brought it on me. Parents, listen to our kids. Let's listen to our friends or to, our parents. Let's not try to be judgmental when someone is trying to tell you what they feel because in their minds, they're trying to get it out for a reason. So let's try to look past the judgment and just have an open heart and an open mind for new people.
Me.
What's your final words today?
My words are like, if your relationship isn't okay with your parents right now, just thug it out, man.
Keep thugging.
It gets better. It gets better.
Keep
okay.
thugging.
The relationships, it'll get better eventually.
It will.
Man, I don't even know.
You did. You just threw some good words. Come
She
on,
puts you
Mama.
on the spot.
I know.
every
That's what
week.
happens. I do
should have
it.
warned me about
I
this.
forget.
You wouldn't have remembered at the end of the
I was
conversation.
like, what's going to happen?
Yeah.
Fill me in. Let me know what to.
Last part.
It's all good, Mom.
Yeah, it's all
Yeah.
good. So,
So my
final words.
only, listen to your kids.
There you
Listen
go.
to whomever you're dealing with an addiction. And don't attach such a stigma to it. I
Mhm.
mean, they're still people. And you can literally watch your child change in front of your eyes, but you can actually watch your child come back as well.
I think
As I
this,
did with
And
Dixie.
Misty, one more last thing.
I think this
Kristen
would be
wanted a
good for you.
question.
What
That's for
would
you.
be- What would be the best advice piece? What?
What would be your best advice to give to a parent that's dealing with a child that's an addict?
There you go.
Which she gave already, but I think you know, finalize it.
You
Boom.
need
No,
to,
dealing with a parent who's an addict.
Oh well. I'm
Ooh,
not
you
the
got
one to
well, you
ask
know you
that.
got help with that too, right? How did you
what?
deal with your mama that was when she was an addict? She didn't deal with her.
All
right,
we
you deal
can't
with
deal with her. And my
No.
parent, I don't have.
Well, I'll tell you what. I don't have advice on how to deal with a parent who is an addict, but you know what? Let's treat it
I
like
will
it's
tell
our
you this.
child. Because at the end of the day,
I will tell you this.
Don't
what
be
I
judgmental.
did is I tried to figure out why my mom was an
Mhm.
addict,
Mhm.
and I forgave her for a lot of things.
Mhm.
But then she just turned around and screwed it all up
yeah,
again.
yeah.
But for me, for my health, I had to forgive her and try to find rationale for her addiction, for her abandonment, for everything she done
Mhm.
for my health.
There you go. And then one last thing, you guys, you know, if you are looking for help about how to deal with a family member that is an active addiction, please visit our McShin.org website. And on there, it tells you about our family night, which happens at 7:00 every Wednesday night. So it's done on Zoom as well as in live action. And thank you for coming to, where are we at? We are getting the herd. Yeah,
Bye,
yay.
guys.
Bye.
Here at McShin, we believe in the McShin way, which is authentic recovery support service providers, people with lived experience, bringing that experience to those who need that lived experience in recovery.
Here at McShin, we believe in many things to support our mission. We believe in women empowerment.
What I love most about what we believe here at McShin is we believe in the authenticity of the peer-to-peer approach.
Here at the McShin Foundation, we believe in giving people opportunity.
Here at McShin, we believe in the inherent worth and dignity of every person.
At the McShin Foundation, we believe in helping people reach their full potential.
Here at the McShin Foundation, we believe in multiple pathways to recovery.
Here at McShin, we believe in placing principles before personalities to help spread hope.
Here at McShin, we believe that recovery is possible and that any person seeking recovery can become a more acceptable, responsible, and productive member of society.
Here at the McShin Foundation, we believe in self-discovery.
Here at McShin, we believe in saving lives and offering second chances.
Here at McShin, we believe you can do this.
Here at McShin Foundation, we believe that we can only keep what we have by giving away, which is why we continue to help others like us seek and find recovery.
We'll get